Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you all here tonight on this nice, cool summer evening. All right, no pun. During closed session, we had a vote to reject the claim for damages against Lancaster School District by Yvette Denise Brown. So we are now reconvening to open session. And Dr. Marietti, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Hand over your heart. Ready to begin?
Okay, at this time, we'll have the enrollment report. Before, this is not the enrollment. Okay. Summer of fun. We had 1,000 students that were enrolled in summer. Today, we had 620 attend. They're making phone calls every day if there's kids are absent to make sure that they feel welcome to come. The great thing about our summer event, we have 28 field trips scheduled for the children during this event. So they're going really cool places like the aquarium, Dinos Alive, family bowling, and getting museum. Great opportunity. Thank you. Moving on to presentations, we have Joshua Early Literacy Grant Block Grant Update. Hello. Hello. So Ubuntu, I am because we are. However you say community, whether whatever language you say it in, we have a community of learners. And it started with Scully, who gave us the framework for improvement science, through PD for our admin, for our coach and our lit team. We attended about 6 hours of training a month as admin and as the coach. We are growing readers. Lancaster School District provided our awesome ILT team, Becky, Krista, and Jordan, who led the writing of our grant and then supported our needs. GER has the alignment, and it's imperative to continue the improvement. GER ensures the alignment and intensity so that everything is aligned, and hopefully this will transcend and go across our district. It is good for kids. We believe our ability in building the framework for structured literacy is what our state is looking for. Everyone asks, how did you do it? How did you get your board on along with you? How did your curriculum and instruction come along? How did your coach? What about your teachers? Everybody asks us how. We presented at CISC. We presented at Carnegie. We presented at the State Elementary Literacy Conference. And this year, we'll be presenting at the Waco Literary Summit and the Literacy and Justice Fall Symposium in Oakland, California, where the right to read began. So reflecting back, in year one, we increased phonemic awareness by 22%. All of our MTSS parents were trained in the science of reading by our literacy coach. Year two, now this is the thing I'm most proud of. 100% of our teachers implemented SIPs in grades K through 5. That includes teachers, MTSS parents. If you are an adult on our campus, you are working on SIPs. Through that, we grew 40% in phonics by the end of the year. And no, we only grew 14% in phonemic awareness, but that's because last year we did really well. And so our kids didn't lose what they learned last year, first time. So we are very excited about that knowledge nugget. Teacher efficacy in phonics instruction, 88% of our teachers participated in peer instructional rounds focused on SIPs. So sustainability and implementation is, wrong one.
So those are the goals that we had up until now. And using the improvement science that we've been learning through the grant, we have been able to establish new goals for next year. We decided next year to have very succinct goals for our literacy team as well as separate goals for our school. So our literacy team realizes that the main thing here is working on sustainability and keeping the momentum going so that we continue working on what we've been doing and continue moving forward, learning new things, as well as when we bring in new teachers and new students, that we still have to keep this whole cycle to continue. So we will maintain our onboarding plan. Every new student that comes in will be assessed by the literacy team. And when they walk into their teacher's classroom, they will have a full picture of who those students are and exactly where they can start with them, which group they need to go into, and how they can support them with their literacy. Another way that we're going to work as a team to keep this momentum going is to keep our slow release model of assessments so that when a new teacher comes in, they are supported by the literacy team in all of their assessments. And then in the middle of the year, we'll do half and half and support them in kind of bridging that. And then finally, at the end of the year, the new teachers are then responsible for giving the full gamut of assessments if they're coming for students. And finally, our goal this year will be obviously to continue the implementation. And when we have new teachers coming in, we'll teach them how to implement all of our structured literacy tools, including Haggerty and SIPs, and then continue moving on with the next goal. For our staff as a whole for our site, our first goal is to cement the learning. We want to make sure that our SIPs instruction and our Haggerty instruction stays in place and that we continue working on those for our students by having independent learning activities that can help them sustain what they've learned in their lessons. We are going to continue working on the language comprehension side of Scarborough's Row and really work with building academic language using frames and stems so that our students can not only build their background knowledge, but be able to utilize the vocabulary that they're reading in their text. And we are going to support the very basic foundation of grapheme recognition for our students by supporting their transcription or writing of letters using the Writing Without Tears curriculum. And then finally, our goal as a school will be to continue building peer efficacy by going in and supporting each other in instructional rounds, and then having our ILT be able to go in after that and support them.
So many systems in our framework have barriers. We say, give us a barrier and we'll break it. Our SIPs box arrived and our teachers' eyes were just wide open. So we had an unboxing PD day where we went through all the materials, made sure that everybody knew what they were. Our district provided collaborative classroom PD, and so everyone was trained. This led to the teacher efficacy survey because our teachers were not comfortable teaching SIPs. They identified what they were strong in, and then they modeled that. And so that was our lesson study. The final phonics efficacy study, coaching cycle, excuse me. They identified what they wanted to learn from the coach, and the coach went in and took them through that whole cycle. Another barrier for us was chronic attendance. This was huge. Last year we had 396. This year we have 341. But we noticed that kids were missing SIPs lessons. If they're not at school, they cannot learn. So what we tackled it. We developed a system. We used our staff meeting to make phone calls home with a script and identify what are the barriers that are keeping kids from coming to school. We tracked it. We helped parents figure out how to get to school. And then the next thing that we did was provide home visits. So the admin and counselors would go so that we could build relational capacity and remove any barriers and make sure that they were connected to resources. We're still working on social emotional learning because that does impact our ability. Guest teachers, I want to say that is myself and Jenny learning how to do SIPs. And I'm just going to tell you that was very stressful, but our teachers took care of me and took care of Jenny. They organized the lesson. They had the cards ready to go. And we did the lesson study without subs. We just made it happen for our teachers so that they would grow and we would grow. Our students' inability to practice at home with the 6 stories, we duplicated them. So they had a set at school and a set at home. Oh, I forgot to parent. I'm so sorry. Parent advocacy. This is the most important. Oh my gosh. Parent advocacy. We want to create parent partnerships, and they had a lack of foundational reading and home practice. We had completed our first set of assessments, and we had lunch on the lawn. So Jenny printed out the Dibbles assessments and what kids were missing. We brought parents into the library. We invited them in. We created a SMART goal together. Then wherever they were, we gave them practice, and they went home with a box of supplies, a box of books, and tracking sheets so that they could help their child succeed in known content, knowing that they could come back and go to the next level once that was done. One teacher focused on fluency and trained parents to assist in providing that. This opened up a different side of vulnerability with our parents and a deeper understanding and connection of who they are. Some didn't know the sounds, some didn't know the letters, and some do not know how to read. We have a lot to teach, we have a lot to assist, and we would not have found this out without doing the parent advocacy piece that we did in the grant.
Okay, sorry, we're super tight on time. So we have a lot of things that we're proud of that we have continued to maintain and also grow into. Our integrity has stayed at the forefront for phonemic awareness. All of our teachers, every single teacher and parent taught SIDS last year, so phonics based on whatever the student controlled. Our literacy lunch with our parents is really something that we hold dear. Our MTSS parents continued with phonics instruction. Our literacy team and shared leadership, and that built the culture of literacy at our site. And we scaled up our work to 4th and 5th grade. And for the first time ever, Joshua is sending 38% of their 5th graders proficiently reading into middle school. I'm just going to go quick. So this is our iReady beginning of year to end of year. We grew overall 32%. iReady is a really wide view of what our students can control.
No, we're not going to keep going. All I'm going to say is read. And if you look at our data, if you're wondering about what each of those elements are, come see us. We'll share with you. But here's what I want to say. R-E-A-D. Read. All children can learn to read.
They just need our help.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
We're moving on to individual action items for human resources. Item 11A is approval of a principal.
Tori Johnson.
Do I have a motion? And Mr. Wentz Scarlson.
Okay, a little bit about Tori Johnson. He has had 20 years. He's worked 20 years in education. He is currently working at Beverly Hills School District as an assistant principal. He has a bachelor's in English from Dillard University, an MAT in secondary teacher education from the University of Phoenix, and he has an educational master's from the Principal Leadership Institute at UCLA. He is most proud about his local community service. He's a compassionate leader and values the importance of academics in building sustainable relationships. And he loves connecting. He's got a passion for connecting with other cultures during his travels to all 7 continents and teaching yoga at the Yoga Roots.
What school? Or
He's going to be the new principal at New Vista Middle School.
any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Welcome. Welcome. Thank you.
Everyone, I want to tell the board, thank you so much for this opportunity to come back to the Antelope Valley and serve this community. I look forward to building a strong relationship, a long-lasting relationship with the Lancaster School District. Thank you.
What do you mean by coming back?
Coming back to the Antelope Valley.
Here before?
Yes, I was.
Okay, great. Yeah, family with you?
I have some friends who are from the Antelope Valley High School who are here to support.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I love it when people come back. All right, item 11B, approval of a principal.
Kurt Lowry.
I have a motion by Pamela Strauss.
Okay, so Kurt has 24 years of service in education. He currently works for El Camino Real Charter High School. He is going to be the next principal at Fulton and Alsbury. His educational accomplishments include being an assistant principal and a principal at both elementary and middle schools. He has been a director of human resources and compliance at an independent charter high school. He is most proud about his work called Morning Labs, a Morning Labs program that he created, which helps build a community within that program. He also received the Trailblazers Award from the former LA Unified School District board member Marguerite Lamotte because of his service to students and families in Los Angeles. And he's very proud of his distinguished service as a U.S. Navy Reserve for 10 years. Like Jamie, son Sean, his daughter Kira. He loves to read. He loves movies, walking, travel, Major League Baseball, and college football.
Right. Vote. Well, stale. All those in favor say aye. Okay. Opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you to the board, esteemed board members, Superintendent Marietti, Human Resources Department, and also to the guests who are here today. I have a wonderful family here with me today too. As Mr. Coleman just mentioned, my wife Jamie, who is a nationally board certified reading specialist at LA Unified School District. Now's your chance to lobby her to come over this way. Son Sean, who will be 2 on August the 5th. And my wonderful daughter, Kira, who is starting her senior year at Chaminade High School, and she is a voracious reader. I'm very, very proud of my entire family. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to getting to work. Fulton Alsbury has a pride and tradition. I've been reading up on the school. I've met some stakeholders here. I'm looking very much forward to continuing the trajectory that the school has. I won't brag too much about my Navy service in the presence of Air Force people. Thank you so much.
I knew Fitz Fulton and quite a character. Oh, I did not have the opportunity to have great people modeled for school and our community at large, and quite ahead. Right, moving on to 11C, approval of assistant principal.
Allison Harmon.
Motion.
Okay, many of you might know who Allison is. She's worked in our school district for 25 years. She's got 30 years in education. She is a district coach currently. MTSS supports the school sites. She has a multiple subject SPED credential. She's got a master's in curriculum and instruction, autism, reading, and literacy authorizations. Again, she's most proud of her work here in Lancaster School District, moving MTSS and inclusion forward. She's been married for 32 years. She has 2 kids. She loves camping, motocross, and amusement parks. And she's not here today, but she's hearing us. I believe she's following us on YouTube.
I believe she's at the MTS.
She's at a training currently right now.
Dedication. Right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Congratulations. Okay, 11D, approval of assistant principal.
Martin Herrera.
Do I have a motion? Second?
All right. So Martin has been in education for 25 years. He currently works for Palmdale School District as a multiple subject math teacher. He developed, one of the things he's most proud of is he developed a dual language immersion program at an elementary school. He attained WASC accreditation for middle school. He is the father of he was a father as a teenager, raised 4 amazing kids. He is the grandfather of 2 teenagers. And he's most passionate about his humanitarian service and his works in third world countries. He mentors youth in juvenile hall.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Guess you don't have to move far.
Oh, this is a humbling experience to be selected to serve Lancaster. Like it was stated, I have been in education for 25 years or so, and it's very comforting to see familiar faces in this district. And I'm looking forward, giving it my all to serve the Lancaster community. I am excited. I'm looking forward for a new journey with Lancaster, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to serve the Lancaster community. Thank you.
A question for Martin. Your grandfather?
My grandfather, in fact, my kid is at home right now. He is doing summer school online. My grandkid is at home right now. Yes, I became a father when I was turning 17. Raised all my 4 kids. My oldest daughter, Jennifer, now 32, has 2 kids who are my grandchildren, obviously. So I'm very proud of that. Growing up in that kind of environment, most of the people that I hung out with, they kind of bailed. Statistically, young parents, young fathers, they bailed on their kids. And I stuck around because I know it's the right thing to do. And it was my responsibility. I brought them to this world. I pitched in to bring them to this world. So definitely I wasn't going to bail on my kids. And I raised them, and they're grown-ups. My youngest, Zion, is 21. Today, he just received news that he got hired by Northrop Grumman. So
All right.
Northrop Grumman.
Grandson.
2, I have a grandson who's going to high school, 9th grader, and a granddaughter who's going into 8th grade.
Where did you graduate?
High school, I went to Garfield High School with the famous Jaime Escalante, my mentor, my lifesaver. I owe my future, I owe my liberty, I owe my life to that man. I got accepted to go to UC Santa Cruz right after that, which was a blessing. Got me a chance to get away from the bad environment that I was growing up in. And then I went to Cal State LA to get my credentials in administration.
That's where my daughter went to school, was UC Santa Cruz.
Beautiful. I fell in love with it. The first year I was homesick, night and day from the neighborhood I grew up in, but I fell in love with UC Santa Cruz.
Tacoma. Yes.
School that will be
Martin is going to be the assistant principal at Discovery Elementary.
Harmon.
She's going to be the assistant principal at Desert View Elementary.
Right, moving on to item 11E, approval of the child nutrition supervisor.
Christine Irick.
Motion. A motion and a second.
All right. So Christine has an interesting story. I love this story. She initially was a teacher for 13 years. And then she was raising her children and she needed to find another alternative. And she began working in child nutrition for the next 20 years. She's worked for our school district for that amount of time. I mean, she's currently the inventory control at the Child Nutrition Services Warehouse. She's very proud of her work for the 20 years. Again, she taught for 13 years because she chose to be a mother. And then she chose to work in child nutrition to accommodate her children's schedule and allow her the opportunity to continue making a difference in students' lives, even though she wasn't in a teaching position. And currently, she is actively pursuing her degree in professional office management. She's very proud of her children. They become wonderful adults and are living such amazing and happy lives. And she's passionate about enjoying spending time with her family and friends, camping and going to concerts.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I just wanted to tell you guys thank you also for the opportunity to do this. When I hired in child nutrition, I worked under Miss Belinda Ross, and I told her right soon after hiring in, said one of these days I'm gonna take your job. And at the time she was a supervisor, and now I'm a supervisor. So it's super exciting. I'm looking forward to the new year with all the new programs. I'm working with Courtney and Belinda trying to make it smoothly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
A question.
Mr. Wayne.
I have something that word really expect to serve
Thank you.
cookies.
Especially oatmeal cookies.
If they're cooked right. Soft.
I'll admit we have a weakness for cookies. Okay, moving on to item 11F, approval of the revised declaration of need for fully qualified teachers. I have a motion. Discussion. All those.
Sure. Let's go to. Let's lead us to an approval for qualified. Where do we take it?
This is about emergency permits for our schools. Yes, these are emergency permits and allowing those with emergency permits to be in the classroom.
So that we can accept those that come
Yes.
from.
That's what it's for.
We have a great program set up with C. Baker,
Yes,
hack educators,
better program.
so that would help bring those to the school district.
That's not what this particular one is for, but they could participate if they had the emergency, if they needed emergency credential and have the qualifying document.
For our emergency credentials have to be on file with the commission. Sure that if we have people on emergency credentials that weren't following the proper paperwork and.
This has to be filed every year. Right?
Emergency permit, yes.
Moving on to 11G, approval of variable term waiver for the 23-24 school year. Have a motion? Second? Stu. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item 11H, approval of provisional intern permit for the 23-24 school year. Between staff members. Motion? All in favor? Moving on to addressing the board. Individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it and any supporting documents to the deputy superintendent or other district officials prior to the start of the meeting. Personal information such as student, parent, guardian's name, address, phone number, date of birth, email address, or other directory information as defined in Ed Code 49061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a written request to the superintendent. Board president shall recognize individuals who wish to speak. Individuals wishing to present testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda may do so once that item has been moved, seconded, and is on the floor for discussion. Time limits of 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per item shall be allowed per board bylaws 9322. Board members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no discussion may take place on an item that is not on the posted agenda. This is per the Brown Act. Do we have from PTA, from CSEA, or from TAL? Comments from the audience?
Request to address the board from.
Hard for me to believe that this is your last meeting, Diane. By the way, do I have to keep it 3 minutes? Because there's so much to say about Diane Groom. I'll try and hurry. I used to come to these meetings all the time before I became a board member and learn from the board members in the Lancaster School District how to do the job and how to do it professionally. Diane, you've always been professional in the work that you've done with children. There's so many organizations that you've belonged to. I couldn't even begin to name them, but they were all in an effort to make life better for people. And you and your husband have made life better for people in the Antelope Valley. I want you to know that. I'm going to miss you. I actually kind of thought that when you and I retired, that you would teach me how to quilt, but that's okay. Where am I going?
Time.
And I am going to miss you, and I know a lot of people in the valley will miss you. What you've done for students and children in this valley is just amazing, and I just wanted to add my 2 cents to publicly say goodbye and thank you.
Can I add something? This is my wife, Lynn. She is on the Antelope Valley Union High School District Board of Trustees. And her thoughts are Diane's been board for 10 years. Will be missed terribly.
In St. Louis. Stay safe. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda items for the superintendent. This includes items 13A to 13F. Motion? Discussion on this item?
I would like to. Own. Their trophy. CSCA. And three. Two. Back. Was it
Too far. Needs to get closer.
On to item 14, the consent agenda item for business, items 14A through 14. A little busy this summer. Do I have a motion? Discussion.
just want to say that. That's the Lancaster School District. Its activities and fundraising. They it gives us an idea. And we help the parents and help the people. It's every one of us. Of all the groupers in my here, right,
Summary.
I love to attend our school function. Pamela and myself liking to keep us. Dr. Mary Eddie does a great job. Jerry does a great job telling us. Keep in mind, let's keep it personal, all of us.
Really, it's the schools where more of a flavor from our school. There is it certainly not here at a board meeting. All of the dry thing. Any other questions or comments?
Schools are going to play. That would
I wish it was a little cooler. All right, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item 15, our consent agenda for educational services, which includes item 15A to 15W. I guess they've been a little busier than business office, so do I have a motion? Sure. Questions?
We're also preparing for the items there for the participation. Study trips were. Says.
Well,
other.
All those in favor say aye. On to, see here. Consent agenda items for human resource services, items 16A to 16L. Motion? Any questions or discussion? It's been busy too. All in favor, say aye. Right, item 17, consent agenda for education and technology services, item 17A through 17E. Discussion? No, they're going to be 60.
Before the performance pass, I've already made a couple of. It's not an easy task. It'll be fast. Standing or laying down, go.
It's great to hear about the summer school program. That's it. It's too, but may not look like it on paper. Oh, yeah. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Moving on to legislative and policy. So I haven't slowed.
I'll catch up on our work.
So these items, Dr. SBA.
They're absolutely CSBA recommendations. We do have sometimes they give us options based on whether we're an elementary district or a high school district or a unified district, and tweaks to the way we do business. But for the most part, they're written by their lawyers and we follow them.
So the,
Those are updates to policies that already existed. So as things change and laws and rules change and times change, this reflects a new law that was passed.
with the campus security.
Comments from the board. Now, Mr. Giles and Mr. Cookie both. Sweet. To start.
Can you, for your presentation. Earl, I think it was informative. I love hearing about the process of keeping the teacher up during the process of the program. So let's focus in on the proper training to help them be the most effective with implementing the program. I was also very happy to hear about the fact to find out how you could benefit parents, as well as keeping them trained and making sure that that they be able to gain tools that they need to help their students at home. I feel like that's often overlooked. Sometimes we implement things with the students, make sure that the parents can help finish that up when they're home with school and their students. Thank you very much for that. Very important as this upcoming year. As far as all of our new staff, I'd like to first thank you and welcome you to our family. Mr. Johnson, Mr. Lowry, Mr. O'Hara, Ms. Farman, Ms. Irish. Look forward to seeing all the great things that you guys are going to do, as well as our students, their families, and our community. Welcome.
such a cool. I'm a first year board member. Really happy. She said. So. But it has children. I hardly have it. Mr. Johnson, Mr. Lowry, next door neighbor. Allsbury, New Vista. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of playground activities that might need to discuss between both schools. Sounds like both of you. Very good. Story here. Coming from Los Angeles, you had to learn a lot about it. Here we're a little different. All based on relationships. That's why I asked that principals, please, the board in mind, whatever you have going on. As we really coming taking those events. Show we all show up. Listen, look forward to seeing you over at Desert View. Enjoy your time. Very good school. Just had some work done. All the hallways covered. To get that rust, to get corrosion out of I think I asked you enough questions already. Cadillac Discovery is a very good school. Really enjoy it. My wife and I used to take photographs of all the help with that. Go back and take pictures. You want us. Is our family here. Pastor has always been yesterday. And all means combine that whatever you need. Dr. We're happy to see what we can do. Everything else, what a it's been. I'll get to the Holman brothers, Todd and Charles. Sorry, all of these specialists. I mean,
Well, I wanted to give a special commendation to maintenance and operations for all the work that they're doing in the heat of the summer. Make sure that school's ready to be open, but I know that 5 campuses that are being painted, 6 that are being painted, so we'll have a fresh new look. I remember over the last 17 years, different snapshots. My first groundbreaking was over at West Wind. So that says a little bit about how long I've been on the board. Was advised by John Miller how I should behave as a board member. Many of you know John Miller, and he would certainly say yes, sir, Mr. Miller. But his wife Jackie also said, no problem over there. You know, just follow your own heart for what matters. Seeing people who would be sitting in the back of the audience and they would come closer and closer and closer. Before you knew it, they would be principals or assistant superintendents or really find their way through the district and giving and following their own heart. This district also provided my son with his student teaching. That was an eye opener for him as he learned about our community, how many different types of people and how many different ways to reach. I think that's what we all have to do. I've seen some of you at the ballpark, and I've seen Sam do all kinds of jumping jacks with data, and all of you. There's just been so much growth. And, I won't miss the meetings at the old boardroom. It was hot in the summer and cold, cold, cold in the winter. This room at least gives us a chance so that our whole community can come together and learn about kids, their needs, and really to engage the entire community, what it is that we do. One of the most memorable nights for me was when they was being discussed, the application, consolidated application for Sacramento. And they probably announced that they had 29 homeless students in Lancaster School District. Well, at the time, I was working for nonprofits serving homeless. I said, there's something wrong. Your number 29 does not come any close to the 600 that we actually know the names of our nonprofit organization. And also the foster youth. They are absolutely invisible to us because we just don't hear when they move from one school to another. Those two populations, I think we have to really double down our focus. And you folks have. You listened, you heard the resources and the way that we could connect with them, identify them. Now we know very, very accurately how many foster youth we have, how many homeless youth we have. We will really let them down if we don't really seek them out. My last hurrah, to me, kids, they just happen to live in unusual circumstances. So I thank you all. It is.
I would like to obviously acknowledge our new administrators. You have a lot of work ahead of you, making connections with our students, in connection with our students, and our staff are doing great work that Trustee Grooms has outlined for us. I do want to say this, we do have breakfast in the classroom at all of our elementary schools this year, so go, go, go. We're hoping to put that in practice. I just want to acknowledge the ability of our children to be so engaged over the summer and go to 28 field trips, places that they might not have an opportunity to visit. So I think our summer of fun is definitely summer of fun for us. Acknowledge Joshua, the LSP grant, the work they've done through the Educational Services Program and CIA, all the work our schools have done in early literacy and our emphasis there. You know, it's obviously can achieve great things when we believe in them and we put the tools in front of them. Finally, I just want to acknowledge Trustee Grooms for all her work, her 17 years of service. I don't think people understand, or you know, that it's hard to understand the passion and the effort and the work that board members do. They don't just show up once a month. They're working every day. They're talking to our community. They're addressing the concerns of our community every single day, and they're guiding the work that we do. And so I've been so fortunate to have been brought in here to Lancaster and to work with such a professional board who knows the work in front of them, who knows our community, whose heart is for our children. So I just want to acknowledge the 17 years of service that you've done for our community. Thank you so much.
You do not need to recess for a second. So it's, I will entertain the motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? 7. Thank you, everyone.